Greetings and salutations, Wahlburgers. Today, for those of you at home, I thought it'd be easier if I recorded a message for you guys to give you instructions as compared to trying to listen to me via Teams. Um, yeah, just be easier. Less screaming or whatever else is going on in the background right now, right? So, this is what I'd like you to do today. Number one, yesterday, you guys started running for the White House as president, and I think a lot of you are having fun with that. Some of you maybe not so much, and are deciding that you will never have a career in politics. That's fine. We need other professions out there, right? Um, but yeah, keep on working on that. That is, of course, due Friday. The other option that you then have, and I'm going to have to shrink my face down there. Perfect, is I'm going to start a competition in all of my classes. Now that we've understood or have figured out somewhat how the Electoral College works and how we elect the president, I am challenging you, yes, you, to try to figure out who do you think is going to win the election. It might not be the person that you would particularly support, um, but yeah, let's just compete and see who can guess this the best. So in the Schoology, again, current course material. Again, I have the special presidential election folder here. Ooh, that's all the White House stuff from before. I want you to look into the election challenge. And here, there is a login for a site called FanSchool. At first, what you're going to have to do is actually sign up. I have a list of league tokens for each of my classes. So you are going to join a league. Please put in your first name, your last name. You are going to be a student. And then finally, sign in with Microsoft there. So what I'm going to actually do is go back so I can log in normally. And what you're gonna hop onto is a site that looks like this. Now you guys are gonna have a window that comes up first. That's going to ask which candidate do you personally prefer? Are you personally interested in? So there is Joe Biden, there is Donald Trump. There is a selection for third party. So one of the non-major parties. There are other candidates, but their likelihood of winning is pretty slim. And then there's also an option, I believe, for like, I don't like any of these clowns. And that's an acceptable answer as well. This site's just kind of polling, just kind of curious what our student fan base here is all about. Um, so yeah, quick and easy. But then you're going to get a site that looks something like this, although yours is not going to be quite as colorful yet. Yesterday in class, I gave you a paper that has states listed and broken down into three categories. We have these solid states, and these are going to be states that we can pretty much guarantee what they're going to be right now. So, for example, Texas typically well, sorry, Texas is not on this list for solid states, but California is typically seen as a blue state. It would be very surprising for it to go the other way. Kentucky, for example, is a very red state. Is probably, I could put money down on the fact that it's going to go for Donald Trump. Um, don't necessarily look at this map here because I just alternated colors for this example, and I wanted it to look pretty. So some of them might be kind of correct, some of them maybe I know aren't. So hey, take a look at, do your own research here. Our next group of states are leaning states. These are states that we kind of have a good idea on, but they could pretty much go either way. A great example is Pennsylvania. Historically, since 1988, Pennsylvania has voted Democrat. The exception to that being 2016 when it went for Trump, which is, I mean, we're one of the states that really kind of helped Trump out there. Um, so we're kind of this leaning in this leaning category. Finally, we have these battleground states. These are going to be the states that rarely are almost too close to call. And these are going to be the states that are going to be more of a challenge to really pick. I know you could look at Iowa right now, for example, and it might be, I mean, it's kind of almost 50-50 if you look at the polls. Ohio is another super, super close one. So these are going to be really where you make the most points. So the way that this game is broken down, we're not worried about the electoral votes necessarily, but each of our solid states are going to be worth 2 points because we're pretty much certain what those are going to be. Our leaning states, I believe, are each going to be worth 5 points if you get those right. And then finally, our battleground states are going to be each worth 10. So for example, let's say I pick Florida. Let's just do Iowa because that is kind of that chancier one. If I say Iowa is going to go for Donald Trump, it's going to be red, and I get that right, I'm going to get 10 points added to my score. All right. This score, by the way, is not for a grade. This is just a friendly competition between students. Now the question becomes, how do you know which colors states are going to be? So back on Schoology, I did give you 2 links to start doing some research. I might add some more as we go forward. But I do look at these from time to time because I'm just that much of a political junkie and nerd. So the first one is 270 to win. And what this actually does, it takes polling from and guesses basically from a bunch of different publications and tries to put them together in a nice chart. So here we have the map from 2016. We can see Donald Trump's 306 to Hillary Clinton's 232. Again, we know that the candidate needs at least 270 votes to win, and we definitely have it there. However, if we look at the consensus map, so if we take all of these different magazines together and kind of roll them into one, what are they agreeing on? We're getting a list that looks like this. The darker the colors, we are saying that they are typically much more on the side of that candidate. The lighter the colors might be closer to like, well, we're not sure. And the grayish colors, we have really, it's almost too close to call. Some of the sites that I would just point out real quick, I do know Politico, for example, is much more of a conservative or Republican-leaning publication. So they have Donald Trump at 179, Joe Biden at 279 in terms of electoral votes. The Economist is much more of a liberal or Democratic-leaning publication. So they have Biden at 319 versus Trump's 164. You also, another one that I put a little more faith into is 538, which has a completely different number of 334 versus 163. The only reason I put a little more faith in 538 is and I'm going to show you their site too, but they actually like pull polls from a whole bunch of different places. Oh, this is about Florida. And try to simulate this in so many different ways. And again, they're not quite sure. They got the 2016 election wrong as well. So it is kind of a guessing game here. The other site, like I said, is 538. It's kind of listing states as compared to how blue or how red they are, and the ones that are kind of in the middle. I'm trying to think what else there is here. They do more of like probability of if people are going to win. But that information is there for you to dig into. If you want to look at a certain state, maybe you have no idea how North Carolina is going to go. Well, they're looking at a whole bunch of data there and all the different polls that are going on, yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of information that you need to digest to possibly make some predictions here. Once you have your map filled out, the last set of questions it asks for is out of all of the voters, all the potential voters, how many of them are actually going to vote this election? Voters aged 18 to 24, so out of all the voters that come out, what is the percentage that are going to be 18 to 24? This is typically a very small group of our voters historically, so don't trust my numbers at all. Victory percentage. I can try to explain that a little bit better later on, because even I'm not quite sure where this number is supposed to come out of, so I'm going to try to find you some better information. But once you are done, you can submit to a national contest, but you do not have to. And then we see. Your submissions have to be in by November 2nd. And they will score them, everything like that. So you can see I'm in my 7th period class right now where Camilla already is. I don't know what her predictions are yet, but we'll see who kind of wins in the end. Now, what's in it for you? Number one in the class. I need to come up with some sort of prize. I think for each of the winners in my class, um, because of course. But I will say when it said something about a national competition or contest. Uh, so this is a site that is throughout the country. And what I think is kind of cool is they are offering a $1,000 scholarship to a student who predicts the electoral college the best. So with that being said, with that challenge there, um, I'm just going to wish you the best of luck. Uh, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Feel free to shoot me an email, put them in the chat. Um, good luck. Have fun running for president. Have fun picking the president. I will see you when I see you.